Welcome back to TM Nerdy. I am, as always, the magnetic TM. Today I have a special guest from a Kickstarter that just blew itself away, blew it out of the water. 401 backers, and it's just an amazing Kickstarter. We're going to get into that, but before I do, let's bring out my co-host, Nick Comic Culture.
Hey, Station. What's
How's
going on, man?
Nick?
It's going great, dude. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to this conversation. Should be really fun.
It should be. I am so pumped for this book. I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to get it physically. I know it'd take a while to get to Canada, but I got the Dates of Futures Past cover, which is phenomenal. I'm a big fan of Back to the Future. Back to the Future 2 came out the year I was born, so it's very exciting.
Absolutely.
Like to welcome our guest tonight.
Absolutely. So as TM said, we just kind of killed it with his current Kickstarter for SpiderSquirrel. So hopefully we're going to hear a lot about it, how we can get copies of this book shipping out soon. I'd like to introduce everyone to Charlie McElvy.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. So, hey, Station, is that what I heard?
Station.
So do I have a gigantic, huge Martian butt, or excellently huge Martian butt? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. My daughter loves that part. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of Stations in the chat.
Awesome.
So welcome.
I'll try to keep up. Thank you.
Welcome. So I want you to introduce yourself. Let anybody know who you are, what your Kickstarter is all about.
Sure. Charlie McElvy. So I don't know. I'm just a dude with a bunch of silly ideas and want to have fun. I created SpiderSquirrel. It's a direct offshoot from a book I did a few years ago. I published back in 2015. I published The Watchguard, number 0, and it just didn't have. It did well. It got funded, and people still buy it, which is wonderful. And there's a lot of activity in the RPG world for it still to this day. People are downloading and buying solo, introductions, like a little couple pages on one character with some game stats and stuff like that, so people can introduce them into their campaigns. So anyway, but that's been going on for a while now, obviously, and like I said, it just didn't have the heart for me that I was looking for. And so after a couple of cool incidents, I guess we'll say, SpiderSquirrel was born, and I just threw myself into it and decided to do this book and spent the last 2 years putting it together.
Yeah. Right on. And you've written other things besides this?
Yeah. So WatchGuard, I mentioned, Teen Force 5. I also have, I've written some stuff for future books that's coming up, either plotted or just laid out some stuff. I wrote the entire WatchGuard source book, which is like 156 pages gaming supplement. And that was really the kind of the start for me is that. And then beyond that, it's been all my own stuff. I haven't really written anything for anybody else that I can remember anyway. If I did, somebody shout it in the private chat for me, let me know. But I don't even know my own bibliography. But yeah, so I've got a bunch of other stuff coming out of SpiderSquirrel. And SpiderSquirrel, with number 1 being so successful, is going to play right into that.
So how did you get into the whole Kickstarter game? Like, did you always just say, like, oh, I'm going to use Kickstarter to fund my books, or am I going to try to find a publisher to... Like, what is your end game with this? Are you going to continue Kickstarter, or hopefully get into a publisher?
No, I mean, it's fine if a publisher wants to pick me up. I had been picked up by Short Fuse. Of course, Short Fuse recently went defunct. No bad blood or anything like that. It was just a situation. It's like like your dad retires and he no longer has a job. It's really what it comes down to, more or less. So it's the best analogy I'm going to give you. So if somebody wants to pick me up, hey, I'm here. But the most important thing for me is to maintain as much control over my characters as possible. So if an Image or a Dark Horse or someone like that came along and said, hey, we'd love to publish your book, then let's talk. Otherwise, I'm not sweating it too much. How I got into Kickstarter, one, because I always had this inclination to controlling as much of the creativity as possible. Even if I'm not directly writing it, I want to make sure that I have the input that's necessary. So, I guess in some ways, kind of a Kirkman mentality of, hey, this is my character. You guys can go write cool stories with it, but I want to be in creative control the whole way through. And so I think that's part of it. I got into Kickstarter originally when I did the WatchGuard book. But what I did there actually, short. I'll give you the short version of a long story, unless you want the really long version. I realized when I wanted to write WatchGuard that one, I wanted to have some character Bible material together. So I wanted to know who these guys were, how do they interconnect, was there relationships, were there not relationships, things like that. So I began creating this character Bible, and I was paying for art from all kinds of artists, Kevin Sharp, Andy Smith, or Kevin Smith and Andy Sharp, I don't care. But those guys started doing stuff for me. I was a friend of Andy's for the last 22 years. So I got a lot of work from Andy, met Kevin, worked through Kevin because he's here in Virginia as well, and got some stuff done initially. Then I met Sean Isaacs, who's now on Fantastic Four. I found Sean, I don't even remember how the hell I found Sean. I think it was DeviantArt, and loved working with Sean. Super, super easy guy to work with, very creative mind. So I got Sean to do a bunch of character designs with me. Sean, of course, co-creator of Stray with Vito Del Santi. And I already mentioned he's on Marvel's Fantastic Four, so I can't get any more work from Sean. But Sean, if you're watching, brother, just a cover, just one cover. Anyway, so I started doing all this work, and I was paying into it and buying into it, as much as I could. And then I said, shoot, you know what? People actually want to read, like, I love Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe. I got my DC Who's Who Omnibus and my Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe Omnibus. Wow. Omnibus is over there. Omnibuy is your new word for the day, kids.
Yeah.
Use it everywhere, and especially with your grammar teachers. So I said, people like that kind of stuff, so I'll put one together. And then I started putting together this, this character guide, this official handbook of my universe. And then I got about partway through and I said, who's going to read this? Like, nobody even cares. They don't even know who these characters are. So I had to find another avenue. And anyway, I'm making this the long version of the short story. So yeah, I figured, I'll help you guys out a little bit, right? I'll answer the questions you're not asking. So then I went ahead and I said, shoot, I need a vehicle. And I was in a gaming store buying comics, actually, and I just kind of meandered around, and I came across Mutants and Masterminds. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that gaming source book. If you're going to play role-playing games for superheroes, it's by far my favorite because it's the most versatile. It's not the least complex by any stretch of the imagination, but it's very versatile. Love the creators. Been on interviews with those guys, and they're mutual respect there. They're super great to work with, Steve Kenson and Chris Pramas. But I looked at this source book, this handbook rather, and I was like, this is beautiful. I'm just going to buy this stupid. I don't even know how to play the game. I'm going to buy it. So I went and spent $25 on it and got home, and I flipped through it, and I was like, this is it. I got it. So what I did is I took this character handbook I was building, and I turned it into a gaming supplement. The ulterior motive there was to have it in kind of I was going to say inbred. There's your West Virginia comment from earlier.
Yeah.
No, it had this inborn kind of audience. Like, it already had an audience if I can get in there. And they had a nice licensing program that was free. It was easy to use. You just had to follow some rules. And so I did that, and I submitted for it and got approved and published this 156-page WatchGuard source book, which went on to win an Ogre Award, to get nominated for an Emmy Award, which is like the highlight. It's like the Oscars for gaming supplements, and I was really excited about that. And I rode that wave for a while. And because it sold so well in the gaming community, I realized now I've got my audience, right? And so then I went right into the Kickstarter, and again, it was just Kickstarter was kind of in its nascency when I did that. At least it was for my knowledge for comics and stuff, but. Failed on the first one, did some, recalibrations, and then went back for a second one and got it successfully done. And here we are. So I think Kickstarter for me is just, it's about maintaining a little bit of control. I see so many publishers now, boom, and those guys coming over to Kickstarter anyway. So even if a publisher picked me up, I'm sure Kickstarter would still be my platform.
Yeah, you are right. Like, to have like full creative rights of your characters, that's like the best way to do it is Kickstarter. It gives you more freedom to do what you want.
Yeah.
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 Especially once you kind of flushed out, because like you said, you kind of had your character handbook, your character Bible. So I mean, I can't imagine putting all that time and effort into that, kind of fleshing out relationships, backstories, motives, personalities, all that kind of stuff, just to kind of have somebody come behind you and say, well, no, we need these two to get together, or this person needs to die, and all this stuff. It's like, no, I spent too much time to build this. So
yeah,
that's an take.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just that's definitely a big part of that, and maybe maybe there's some ego to that, but I think there has to be. When you're trying to create something like that, you've got to maintain control. It's like being a parent. I don't know if you guys are parents or not. I have 7 kids, and I will throat punch anyone who threatens my children. And I actually do have like Thor hammers and axes. I got bow and arrows above me right here. I got all kinds of brutality waiting to happen. So mess with my kids, I dare you.
Yeah,
and I feel that way about my book characters too, right? So
it's your baby.
It is.
Yeah, it's your 8th or 9th or 10th. All your different characters.
Well, there's 40 characters over here in this one book.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
You do that math.
Yeah.
Going through your Kickstarter as well, like seeing the photos of like all of the characters you have, like that was just that, like, made me more want to pick it up. Like, is you have this whole world that you've already planned out in this like one issue, so I knew there would be more.
Yeah, no, there's definitely going to be more. And for me, it was super important this time I spent 2 years, and somebody asked me recently on another podcast, I think, hey, why'd you spend 2 years, putting the book together? You could have just, gone and crowdfunded it and then just done it that way. And I was like, yeah, but now I'm dependent upon everyone else to get the thing done. Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not implying there is. I'm just saying that for me, it goes back to that creative control piece is, I didn't want to say, oh, well, I only got funded this much, so I'm only going to do this part of the story or whatever. And I figured the heck with it. So I wrote it as a graphic novel anyway, and I was originally going to do it as one big old honking graphic novel. And then actually Michael Watson, kudos to you, brother. Michael Watson suggested, hey, why don't we break it up? And I was like, oh, good, because I mean, it's kind of chaptered anyway. I just wrote it that way. So that's what happened here. But yeah, I spent 2 years putting this together so that I can keep delivering. And that was a big, majorly important thing for me is I want to not just get it funded. Thank you to the 401 backers. You guys are freaking amazing. TM, thank you, brother. But I want to give it to you as soon as possible. And so right now I'm just anxiously like waiting for Kickstarter to go, hey, your funds have cleared, so I can start ordering crap and get it delivered to you guys.
Well, that might be a good pause for the question. If for those who were not able to support you on the Kickstarter, is there any way that we can kind of get involved in this? Is there any way we can get copies of the books digitally, physically? What's out there for the people who weren't able to catch your Kickstarter?
Great question. Thanks, Nick. Just last night, I started building a website specifically to that end. First things first is I want to deliver to my Kickstarter backers. You guys are the ones that got me where I am, right? Got this book where it's at. So absolutely want to get it at least in transit to our Kickstarter backers first, get the digital stuff out. I am setting up a pre-order page that'll first be available for backers so they can add on. It's kind of like my own personal backer kit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Backer Kit, but
yep.
I'll send out links to my backers and say, hey, if you guys, this is live, you can go order and add on anything you want. And if you order before I ship, I'll bundle it together and I'll save them on shipping and things like that, especially Canada, right? Because my God, USD Canada rates are ridiculous. So I want to try to do that first, and then I'll open it up to the public. So it will be available on my website, which I'll publish. I don't have it'll be spider-squirrel.com. For anyone who wants to bookmark it now, there's nothing there except for a coming soon page. It'll be there. It'll be on the digital versions will be on Drive-Thru Comics. It'll be on Indie Planet as well as Comixology when I'm all said and done. WatchGuard Zero is already on Comixology. And you guys have heard me mention the WatchGuard Sourcebook a few times now. That is already available on Amazon.com, and it's available on DriveThruRPG.com. You can get digital or physical versions of that there.
I did get the digital like the digital plan, like that $1 a bunch, and WatchGuard number 0 is in that list. So
yes,
is that just the first story, or is it like play on to number 1 at all?
Yeah, the intention you'll see when it's over. It's kind of like, oh, it's like the quick big intro, and it's just a short and sweet. That's all it is an intro with how these characters got together. It's a bit of a truncated story, so we'll expand on it later. The goal was always to do more. But like I said, I kind of found myself in a funk with WatchGuard. There was something missing for me. As much as I love the team dynamics like Teen Titans and X-Men and Avengers and stuff like that, it was just lacking for me. And so I kind of sat back a little bit and reevaluated. WatchGuard I'll do more with. I want to find a writer who's going to follow my lead. And I've got some great guys in the bullpen, as it were. I'm building my own comics empire. You guys just don't know it yet. But I got a few writers in the bullpen that when I'm inspired for a WatchGuard plot, I'll probably pull somebody in and have someone do it for me. So in that case, I'll just be more of a publisher and creator, kind of overseeing things. Yeah. So yes, is the short answer.
Great. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people in the chat are going to be interested, including myself, into how we can get a copy. So appreciate it. Yeah, we're all going to look forward to it. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So how did you come up with the idea for Spider-Squirrel and Trash Panda?
Wow. It's a pure 420 moment. No, I'm kidding. It's so all right. So for those who don't know, I was on Ninja Warrior. So like there you go. Woo-hoo, yay. I think
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Super fun and great community. Can't say enough about it. For all the indie community and the way we kind of Voltron together, the ninjas are just like that. So I've been training at a parkour studio for a couple of years, and one Thursday evening I was training, and there's two kids there, and they were watching me rather than actually doing anything. And so it's an open gym, so everyone's all around everywhere. And I was actually in the process of choreographing my video shoot for Ninja Warrior, like the things I wanted to do, wanted to show off these skills. I was trying to avoid everything that everybody else does all the time. Oh, I'm going to lâcher from this bar to that bar, and I'm going to do a salmon ladder. And it's like, yeah, big deal. Everybody freaking does that, right? So I wanted to find some unique things, and hadn't seen a lot of parkour ninja combined kind of thing. So that's what I was doing. I was bouncing all around. And these two kids are sitting there, and they're both named Alex, mind you, Alex B, Alex C. And so one of them looks at me, he says, and I started hearing the conversation. He goes, he looks like a squirrel. Look at him. He's just not as annoying, but he's bouncing. By the way, it's debatable. He's bouncing around, and he's just all over the place. He's like here, there, everywhere. And the other Alex goes, dude, look at his long arms and legs. He looks like look, he's climbing now. He looks like a spider, and it just became this back and forth. And I laughed. I was like, guys, look, I'll just be the Spider-Squirrel. And it just from what somebody said last time, from my lips to God's ears, it went out like that. And it was totally one of those ding. I get the light bulb above my head now. And yep. I immediately went home that night, designed a quick logo, which is actually still the font-based part of it anyway. The type-based version. I designed that, and I went to a direct-to-garment printer locally and had them put it on 2 pairs of 4XL sweatpants. And for the rest of the year, I was competing and doing parkour in those sweatpants. And so that's kind of where it started. And then when I went on Ninja Warrior, it grew. I came up with, I reached out to Ray Anthony Height, and Ray is a great dude, great designer. If you guys haven't read Midnight Tiger or anything he's doing, he's outstanding. Do some character designs for this idea that I had. I was like, basically, I want me as a superhero. So me. And Ray goes, I got it. And anyway, after about 5 or 6 iterations, we were pretty darn close. The only thing that was missing was the logo. And I came up with the idea of taking a spider web and putting it in the background, and then dropping a squirrel tail on top of it with a couple of cute little feet. The thing was, though, is it wasn't complete because that S wasn't an S yet. It was like turned like this or something. It was 90 degrees from where, I don't know why I'm twisting for you guys. You can figure it out in your heads. But it was 90 degrees, and Vito and I were chatting, and I showed him. I was like, Vito, I got it. And I showed him the logo, and he's like, it's just not there, dude. And I was bummed. I was like, the heck do I got to do to impress this guy? And Vito goes, why don't you turn that 90 degrees? And I did it, and I go, oh my God, it's an S. So
it works. It's perfect.
Yeah. So I was a total dumbass. I missed it the first time, but anyway, it worked. So it was a collaborative effort. So that's the birth of Spider-Squirrel. I wanted to inject myself wholly and completely into one character. There's pieces of me in a lot of different WatchGuard characters, Blue Chip and Voyager and all these guys, but Spider-Squirrel's all me. So, and he's just as obnoxious as his jokes are just as bad. And,
So did you go by Spider-Squirrel when you're in Ninja Warrior at all? Was that like your nickname on the screen? Did they ever put that on there? Did that follow you through there too?
If it had been taken off, if it had not been hitting the cutting room floor, yeah, they would have put it on there. Actually, I should have brought them upstairs. I have down in my basement some really, really freaking cool. And in fact, I might try to find them for you on my computer and just share on the screen. They really wanted to play the whole persona up. So for those who didn't know, I actually had a mask made, and I was going to wear that on the show too. So it's the official mask, and it's glue on, and as opposed to the strap band. And I was going to wear that, but it fogged up too easily, so I didn't wear that on the show. Might have gotten me visible, but oh well. But yeah, they wanted to play that whole thing up. So the Spider-Squirrel piece was absolutely a part of it.
Cool.
So how did you come up with Trash Panda? That was another great character that it just took to me in that. And then I liked the character design of it. And I was like, that's a badass character. And I saw the name. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I got to get this.
So Trash Panda is my my second tailgater. So for anybody not familiar with my characters, and I don't have a source book up here in my bedroom. Tailgater was this one character that I created for WatchGuard Sourcebook. He actually appeared in a book that we're producing now, and he just became ridiculously popular. He's still one of my best-selling characters on RPG, Drive-Thru RPG, as a solo character, because it's just people are going, "Why did I think of that name?" Tailgater, and he's this gigantic, human alligator hybrid thing. Trash Panda. I have a buddy named Jeremy. Who I'll be live streaming on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll be live streaming from my personal account, me eating a very disgusting and gigantic slice of pineapple pizza. Jeremy and I go way back, and I love the dude. And after the first Guardians movie, he was going around calling himself Trash Panda, and I don't know, something just visually hit me. When I created Spider-Squirrel and had him nailed down and done, he was missing something. He needed somebody to play off of. That banter needed to be there. And I don't know. I looked at Jeremy one day and I was like, "Oh my God, you're it!" and so I reached out to Drew Moss and said, "Drew, all right, I got this idea. So here's my friend Jeremy. Here's his picture. It's the worst picture I can find from. Hey,
how's it going, everybody? Sorry, I'm late.
So I was like, "Hey, this is the worst picture I can find on Facebook of Jeremy. So take this picture, make a character look like him, but he's also this like anthropomorphic Panda coon thing." And Drew's like, "I don't know what that means, but okay, I'll do it." And so Drew helped me out with the designs, and we ended up with this gigantic, bizarre Trash Panda character that just it's so worked from the start, and he's not going anywhere. So, I'm glad you like him. I love him. He's great. Yeah, thanks, guys.
And some of your influences, like on your characters, is like Nightwing, Spider-Man, Invincible. You also said Booster Gold and Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of time getting to that part. I figured, so I'm not going to spoil the book for anybody. But right from the onset, I wanted to have the two characters interact and just show that dynamic, in a really kind of a quiet moment. They're in their dorm room, and they're just kind of talking about stupid stuff. And right off the bat, we're playing the whole Blue Beetle, Booster Gold thing, where they love each other to death, but they're always pissed at each other and they're knocking on each other. But I do split the team up pretty quickly and send one of the characters off flittering about the multiverse while the other one's busy in some street level fights and other things. And so since I was splitting them up, and I knew I was going to, and that's it's a big device, a community device, and I'll talk about that a little later. But I knew I was going to do that part. I figured let's get that part right out of the way. Let's set the tone for what these guys are and who they are. I don't want people thinking this book's way too serious. So,
right.
Cool,
nice.
Welcome, Staff Station.
Sorry, guys, I got stuck on daddy duty. What got you, what was your inspiration to want to write your own comic? What was the catalyst? If no one's asked that.
Yeah, no, they haven't. And that's a really good question. I think I think every comic. I mean, I don't know. I'm no different than any other comic fan. And there's stories inside of all of us that we just want to tell. We want to read, and I think that is the biggest factor for me. Is there are some stories that I wanted to write for my favorite characters, whether it's Nightwing or Blue Beetle and Booster Gold or whatever, or there was just stories that I knew you couldn't tell with those characters, and I think the limitation of a big brand name character is always there, and so.
Right.
You know, people ask me all the time, do you want to write for Marvel or DC? One, I don't think I'm that good, so maybe, but you know, but I'd really rather not. I like this.
Right.
I like playing in the indie community, and I like having my own characters. So for me, it was just about telling the story I want to tell the way I want to tell it, and that's kind of it, man.
Nice.
So now that your book is done and launched and that, what's next for you after the Kickstarter orders are filled?
As soon as we start shipment, I've already begun building up the next campaign. So as soon as we start shipment and I see people are getting deliveries, I'll really go headlong into getting that put together and ready for the next Kickstarter campaign. We're going right into issue number 2. So I'm doing everything I can to not delay issue 2. Issue 2 is done. I mean, completely, maybe some edits and tweaks and stuff like that, and maybe some color corrections and things, just stuff you'll find when you're looking through the book again with a fine-tooth comb.
Right.
And maybe even some dialogue changes, but all minor stuff. The book is actually done. I'm commissioning covers right now, so I have a few extra covers. I'm not gonna do as many covers as I did this first one. We did 9 covers for this first one, if you count a local store exclusive. So I'm a little tired. That's a lot of commission. You guys have a lot. Yeah. And I'm sure some people were messaging me, go, "Hey, how do I get this and that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know, it's confusing as hell." So I'm gonna try to pare it down a little bit. We'll have maybe 4 plus maybe an exclusive store cover. I already had a local restaurant wants to be featured on the cover because I guess I'll share this with you guys. This is actually an exclusive. How about that?
Nice. Premiere.
Yeah, I'm going to try to talk and flip through my screens at the same time. So let's see how functional I really am. My local comic book store is Gateway Comics and Toys. And we have a couple of local restaurants. So where I live is some historical downtown area and in Virginia. And there's a local place called Benny Vitale's Pizza, and it's outstanding. I love it. The pizza slices, I'm not even kidding, are bigger than
Nice.
freaking
Nice.
and this is how committed I am to my Kickstarter, because I love pineapple and I love pizza. I don't love the two together. I hate it, actually. And you know, cue the haters. Go ahead, just throw it at me. I don't care.
You're in good company.
By the way,
I like
that was Canadian
pineapple
design. Thanks a
either.
lot, TM. Yeah. So I got this big old honking piece of pizza. I'm committed. I'm gonna eat the whole freaking thing. But Benny Vitale's, we got a good photograph from a local photographer, professional photographer. She took a photo of the storefront, and I had Shaheen Lachuse put together a piece of Trash Panda and SpiderSquirrel fighting over pizza.
Nice.
So let me see if I could. Let me go ahead and share my screen here with you guys and gals. So,
Yeah, be careful how much you talk about variant covers. If Fables in the chat, he's probably gonna want to get every single one of them.
If
there you
we
go.
ever go overboard, blame Fable. Oh, that's nice. That's so dope.
Thanks, man. So this is a Gateway Comics and Toys exclusive. They'll sell them. They ordered 200 copies, so there'll be plenty available online as well as in the stores. So
Nice.
yeah,
Sweet.
So I'll actually be eating that brand of pizza here
Cool.
in a few days. Oh God.
You'll get through it though. It'll be fine. It was worth it. It was worth it.
It was funny that the store owner texted me. He says, "Hey, dude, I'm gonna order the pineapple. Do you want anything else with it?" I was like, "Oh my God, yes, anything. Jalapenos, pepperoni, bacon, ham,
Anchovies."
Cryo's over here, like, yeah, pepperoni, pineapple, jalapenos. I'm with you.
Ooh,
That's that'll work.
They should cry.
Yeah. Thanks,
wow.
Cryo.
What a mixture.
So how did you get paired with your artist? Is it like was it like just like in passing, or how did you come about selecting your artist?
Yeah, for the interior or the covers or all the above?
All if you don't mind answering.
Oh, sure, I don't mind. No, I'm real deliberate about that. I'm very particular about whose art fits the style for the books. And so, in fact, there was an unfortunate situation where I had to switch midway through the first three issues, which bummed me out because, like I told you guys, it was going to be a 96-page graphic novel. Now it's going to be 3 separate issues. And there was a scheduling conflict. So anyway, I was searching around for the right artist, and I already mentioned that Invincible was, or TM mentioned for me that Invincible's an influence. So I was like, man, I'd love to get Ryan Otley. Oh my God, it ain't happening, but I wanted to so bad. And it was kind of circumstantial. I can't remember how exactly. I came across something from Mike Exner. Oh, I know what it was. It was Short Fuse. They were working on a book, and I saw the art from DC Stoltner. And I was like, ooh. So I started looking into DC's work, and I was like, oh my God, it is. It's very like Otley-esque, very definitively so.
Right.
And clearly an influence. So I reached out to DC, and he's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. And it just magic, right?
Oh,
he's amazing, dude. In fact, the cover that TM ordered is all him. The Dates of Future Past, Back to the Future homage cover. Yeah,
nice. That's a good cover. I like that. Yeah, he showed that to me. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
So, as far as the cover artists, some of them, like Shaheen, I'd worked with in the past. I was working on a French-Canadian super team. Well, they're not French-Canadian. They're actually in Manitoba, of all places, right? But there's a military base out there, and I'm kind of using that knowledge for a little bit of nonsense. But the department that founded them is based in Quebec, and so I wanted a little bit of the Canadian, French-Canadian politics versus traditional Canadian, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
British Canadian. So I wanted a little bit of that politicking in there, not politics in the sense of annoying left versus right kind of stuff, but like, I hate you guys. You're French, and or whatever kind of thing. And so I wanted that kind of banter. So Shaheen and I worked together before, and he was going to be an interior artist for me before he got picked up by Aspen Studios. And then, so he still works with me. He's got a cover coming from issue 2. I think I've shared that online and other places, which is great. Who else did covers for me? Ali Castaneda. So I mentioned backstage. I mentioned to the guys Zenith Comics, Andrew Collis's group. He had a book a couple years ago. Came out about the same time as the Watchguard, called Heroic. And Andrew and I hit it off. We had good friendship, and I really loved his book. I really, really loved Ollie's art, and so I hit Ollie up after he did Heroic. And we've worked together for years now, so it's been really good. So he's a staple. In fact, I'm trying to.
Nice.
He's got a few things on his deck, literally with Upper Deck and Marvel.
Oh, sweet.
He's trying to finish up, but as soon as the deck's clear, I'm gonna keep using that stupid joke. As soon as that's clear, I got a book over here. I'm looking at my notes that I want to get him into. So as a full-on line artist, he does have an 8-page. Interstitial in, can't remember if it made issue 1 or issue 2 now. Oh my God, I renumbered everything. So you'll find out when I do. So you see Ollie's art in the interior of the book. Mitch Ballard is also did an interior piece. He's a very Perez Byrne era artist, phenomenal guy, absolutely just brilliant artist. We've got a nice kind of homage to Nightwing and a few other characters. It's got a really good vibe to it. Very
nice.
Very Perez era. Not the writing part. I'm not going to credit myself like that. But at least the art, it's pretty. Kind of thing going on. Yeah. Who else is
covers,
man? You got to remind me of my covers now.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
I know.
Of great covers as well. Like I literally was sitting there for a good 20 minutes. It was like, I'm backing this, but what cover do I want?
Cornucopia, man. Francesco Ayaquinta. So Francesco, I came across his art a long while ago and kind of started following him, and I was waiting for the right moment. And then I hit him up for a piece because I thought he'd do a really cool, and he did. He did a really cool night scene, and so it was the night moves. Working on my night.
Oh yeah, yep.
It was my Night Moves cover, and then Aurelio Mazzara. So Aurelio was going to be the interior artist for a minute on Spider-Squirrel until DC happened. And then I was like, oh, good, because I got another book for Aurelio. And then he got picked up by a Marvel. It's not Marvel proper, but like not a subsidiary either, but like someone who's publishing Marvel works with kid, like Scholarship does sometimes with other brands. Yeah. I can't remember the company's name now. And he also did some stuff for IDW. So kind of lost Aurelio except for the cover piece. And he'll do some more work for me, but it'll probably be covers or pinups or something.
Nice.
And then, I don't know. I'll think of the other covers in a minute.
When it comes to those covers, though, do you just give them kind of free range, or do you kind of get how does that come about? How do you get to 9 different covers like that? How does that even happen? I always see these new books coming out and they have 17 covers, 20 something covers. Yours has 9. What's going on? Are you reaching out to all these people and saying, "Here's the story, go for it"? Or what's that conversation? How do you do that?
Like when I worked with McDaniel, Scott, that was a dream job because I'm again Nightwing fan, and Scott's era, the Chuck Dixon Scott era was oh my gosh, right? So I have like all 125 issues still in singles. Scott did. He was like, "Hey, so what's the story? Or if you want to send me a script, or or if you have interiors, I'll pick a scene, or whatever." Right. And so I sent him some ideas and stuff like that, and he went with, "Hey, what about just a nice like." Bam, opening splash kind of a thing. And so the McDaniel cover you guys saw for this first one was that. He did 2 covers. Yeah, he did 2 covers, and he played off the multi-dimensional thing a little bit. And he sent me, he said, "Hey, here's A and B. Which design do you like better?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I like both of them." He's like, he said, "I don't mind doing both of them." I was like, "Yeah, but I got to pay for both of them."
Of course he doesn't mind. Of course.
No, Scott's awesome. I was like, "Oh, the hell with it, Scott. Do both of them." And so I did. I bought both of them. So the second one that he did probably won't show up for issue 2 because there's a specific story in issue 3 that I think plays off that cover pretty well. That may change because it's not necessary for a cover to be vibing exactly what's inside. You guys know that. Especially a variant cover. So
sure.
So we'll see. But yeah, no, I think for the most part, I give the guys free reign. I think Shaheen, he's doing one for me now that Lori Foster just finished inking. I messaged him. I was like, "Hey man, everybody loves the food fight because he did the food fight one I just showed you guys. I said everybody loves that piece, so let's play off that again. Like maybe let's argue over like burritos, flour tortilla or tacos. So like flour tortillas or corn tortillas or something, And so we thought about doing that, or is it pronounced gyros or heroes? Or so I threw all these ideas at Shaheen, and he's like, "Can we do the pizza again?" I was like, "Well, shit, go ahead." But this time there's aliens. That's all I got to say. So when he sent it back to me, I was like, "Oh my God, you've got to do this cover because it's outstanding." I mean, I can share that one with you too if you guys want, but it's super fun. So.
Now, for future volumes or issues, do you plan on using the same interior artist for Spider-Squirrel, or do you have you thought that far ahead?
Thanks for setting me back to where I was.
No.
I had mentioned that I had to change up, right? So So yes, issue 2. Well, first off, I'll qualify it. There's a main story artist, which is what DC's job was, is to be the primary story. There's actually a series of interstitials in here. Again, without giving away too much, although I probably already have in various points, is there's these little interstitials are written, co-written by other creators in the indie community. So I invited them into my book, and I said, "Hey, I want my character to meet yours. Do you guys want to hook up? You want to do this?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sure." I said, "Here, and the best part is you get to write it. I'll just kind of keep the voice of Spider-Squirrel as consistent as possible, but I don't want to change too much writing. So some of it's not very consistent." I don't think it's obvious. There's certain things like I think somebody wrote zoinks or something like that, and I was like, "Yeah, he wouldn't ever say that."
He wouldn't say that.
Maybe why not? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I didn't change it. I left it, but or yoink, and I was like, I don't write that. Not criticizing it. It's just not me.
You're right. Not your style.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I kept it for the most part. Anyway, and I said you can keep your art team too. So if you have an existing art team for your book, let's use your art team, because what I want to see is I want to see different interpretations of Spider-Squirrel. And I also want to give the feel that this is a different place. Like he's not, you know what I mean? Like he's actually moved somewhere and he's in a different place, time zone, whatever, or time zone. And so that's what I did. So you'll see a lot of different artists in the book. In the first issue alone, you'll see DC's work for the main pages, and then the interstitials, you'll see Mitch Ballard, and you'll see I think Ali Castaneda's in there, and I think you'll see you see 2 or 3 others. So it'd be kind of neat to see Dave Wynn from across the pond. He's going to do that's not the name of their studio. Their studio is Marcosia. If you guys are familiar with some of the UK books from Marcosia, Hypergirl makes an appearance.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Nice.
So, and yeah, so Dave Wynn's drawing that. It was kind of fun, quirky art. Phileas Reed makes an appearance from Scott Fogg, for anybody familiar with that. And Justin's art is all over that. So good, fun, quirky, cartoony style. It's really neat. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely sounds like something up my alley.
But I didn't
Oliver
finish
also
answering
did.
your question. So DC is the artist for the main story for the first 2 issues. When
Okay.
issue 3, I really was ready. I was rolling. I was like, I want to get this Kickstarter ready. I want to get the 3rd book finished, as much, at least the line art.
Right.
DC ran into a conflict. He had a it actually is a horrible irony here. He had a conflict, so I went with another artist, which was great. Ariel Medell. I love working with him. His art's beautiful. Did great work, and it's not a jarring difference. One, we're going from issue to issue before they change, which is nice.
Right.
And then 2, just trying to maintain some level of consistency with the general style. He did a good job with that. He and Juan Castro did the 3rd issue, and most of that book is SpiderSquirrel back home with everybody else. So yeah, I did change it up, but it was kind of a not choice thing. I say it was ironic because I get in the middle of working on this stuff with Ariel, and then DC goes, yeah, my thing fell through. I'm like, oh, sugar, man.
Oh.
So
Oh well.
I feel bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Cool.
Oliver also did the cover for Parkour.
Oh, no, that was
Oh,
Shaheen.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Was it she? Yeah, Oliver.
He did the Ninja Warrior, the reverse cosplay cover.
Oh, it's saying that Oliver did the parkour.
Oh, that would be this guy's fault then. So no, that was Shaheen. Shaheen and Ian Sharman and John Rock did.
Yeah.
John Rock under the colors. Yeah.
Parkour was the other cover that I was like, oh, do I want that one or do I want Dates of Futures Past? I was like, oh.
Dude, I'm looking at my numbers, and that was one of the hottest covers. It was it's such a simple, cool cover, but it was my number 1 variant cover, not counting this McDaniel one because I intentionally limited that one to 37. So yeah, 72 different persons got a copy of that. So out of 401,
Wow.
which is crazy. Yeah. No, I like it too.
Yeah. That's a good cover.
Thanks. I need to make it a shirt.
Yeah.
I'd like that shirt.
Well, it'll be available to you soon, I'm sure.
So getting back into your book, like what do we expect like further past this? Are we going to expect that number 3 and number 4 is going to be an ongoing thing?
No, I did. Well, so I wrote it as an OGN, now 3-issue miniseries. I'm going to keep it the miniseries for now. Although I say that, and I've already mentioned there's a one-shot in the works as well. And next year I want to do an annual, which will be a little anthological. I'm pretty sure I'll have one big story and then several smaller stories in there from either myself or guest creators. I mentioned that I missed out a chance to have DC on all 3 of these issues, and I pinged him and I was like, "Man, I got another story I want to tell, and I think it's about as wild and insane as possible. So, are you in?" And he's like, "Let's do it." So, so I've teased that already on the Kickstarter for the backers in one of my updates, but we'll play with that. So yeah, DC and I are going to do another one shot, but the SpiderSquirrel is. So for lack of a better term, that's going to be the flagship title for the stuff that I do going forward. I'll always have a SpiderSquirrel story in the works, and maybe a mini series, maybe an OGN, maybe just an annual and a one shot or whatever. So there'll always be something going on with SpiderSquirrel. But what I want to do is I want to introduce. I have so many characters to share with you guys that I want to introduce right out the bat. A couple other folks. So you'll meet some of them in issue 3. Issue 3. We'll do a few little epilogues. Hey, Marvin's in the house. Issue 3, we'll do a couple of epilogues, and I'll change the artists a couple times to give people a chance to do the characters that they may actually do the interior art for their book. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. So you'll see a few break-offs. So as the dust settles and all the action, we'll go over here to this side of the town and go, hey, what's going on with this guy? Alpha Elite. Hey, what's happening with Milestone over here, which is one of my characters. Excuse me. Hey, what's going on with the new Teen Force 5? Why are they here? And so it'd be a couple pages here and there, just kind of distributed throughout, and that'll directly lead into various mini-series. So I do have the Milestone mini-series by Vito Del Sante and Ariel Medel. So Ariel's going to do interior arts. The issue 1 of that one's actually done. Just need colors, really. So we've got pencils, inks, and letters done. Final edits and colors is all we need to do. That book is done. We got 1 cover already from Andy Smith. We'll do a couple other covers as well. Alpha Elite from Daniel Calvin. If you guys are familiar with the indie community, Daniel does American Dreams. He published the first issue through Short Fuse. The second issue also, I think, through Short Fuse. And he's got a couple other issues hitting Kickstarter soon. So watch out for Daniel. So his character Liberty is going to show up soon in Kickstarter. But he wrote a mini series for Alpha Elite. Alpha Elite is, how do I describe this guy? He's like if Captain Kirk, Booster Gold, and I'm trying to think of the most pompous ass I can think of.
Guy Gardner.
Wow, there you go. If those 3 merged or had a love child in some kind of weird alien symphony, this is Alpha Elite. So Alpha is this egotistical buttwad superstar, wannabe social media, kind of playing off the whole, the proliferation of social media in today's age. And Alpha is just going to be this obnoxious, fun ride that Daniel's writing for me. That first issue is all done, except for, we have only 5 pages colored in that one. And so those of you who backed the Kickstarter for this book, SpiderSquirrel #1, I'm adding 10 pages to SpiderSquirrel in the form of previews for both of those books. So you'll get the Milestone pages uncolored, but lettered and inked. And then you'll get the 5 colored and lettered pages of Alpha Elite. So you guys can get a sense of that. Alpha Elite, I was working with David Tinto on the interiors. I'm going to have to switch artists because David he got consumed with a contract, and so kind of lost out. This is the downside of building stuff in advance, right? I'm not rich. I can't pay for everything all at once, guys.
Yeah, what are they offering you? I'll double it. Yeah, it's not like
But I am trying to do it so it's clean. I'm not trying to change artists in the middle of a book, so I don't mind ending one book and then going to issue 2 and having a slightly different artist. I'm gonna try to keep consistent in style though if I can. So so there's that. New Teen Force 5, which I mentioned earlier. I've got a Rook one-shot. So this was originally called Castle when Dan Faust and I started working on this together. Castle, for those of you who have the WatchGuard source book, he's in the source book. His name is changing to Rook because it just sounds better than Castle, and it makes a much cooler logo. And so we're gonna go with Rook, and that's gonna be I say darker, but I don't mean like a super brutal, arm breaking kind of dark. I mean, it's just a street level, vintage Batman kind of a book or Nightwing kind of a book where you have the single character going out and trying to fight crime at a street level because the rest of the superheroes really don't give a crap about the low guy, right? So that's always
kind of big picture.
That's that kind of dynamic. Yeah, you guys see it in comics today where there's this dynamic of, hey, who's taking care of the back alley crimes?
Right.
It's too big, too small for Superman, but
Daredevil.
So. And there's a few other things in the works, but there's some teasers.
It's cool.
Cool.
So when you sit down to write a project, do you have do you approach it differently every project, or it's do you start from the beginning and work your way towards, or the end and work your way towards the beginning, or it's like, do you have like a theme, or you know?
I don't know if I have a theme per se. I like with Spider-Squirrel, I said, what do I want to do? One, what do I want to read? And one, that makes two, in case you guys didn't realize. And with three,
Sorry.
I swear to God, this is water, and it's in the
No, we talked about backstage. That's moonshine. That's a mason jar, folks.
Cheers.
Yeah. Whew. I need a refill. But really, what do I think people want to read? And like with Spider-Squirrel, the one thing I didn't want to do was tell an origin story. And I know some people are going, "Why not?" And I go, "Because I don't want to." I just wanted to dive into the action. And that book,
fair enough.
The goal for that book was set the tone. I just wanted to set the tone for what I want to do with these characters. I also wanted to set the tone with the community. Because I mentioned, we had all these community writers bring their characters in. Moonshine! Marvin.
Marvin's drinking too.
I know. I mentioned 420. We're drinking moonshine. I don't know what's going on.
It's getting crazy.
It is getting crazy. So I guess my process, to answer the question more specifically, is I look at the characters and I say, what do they want to tell me, right? And then what do I want to say through them? And that kind of becomes the that's the sperm and the egg for kind of a crude analogy of how to birth a story for me. And then from there, I figure out, all right, where do I want it to end, or do I want it to end? Like with Rook, I think when Dan and I were talking, I'm sorry, Scott, when with Fundamentals, Scott and I were talking the other day, and he said, well, I had two endings in mind. Which one do you want to go with? This one, it's closure because it's a one shot. Or do you want to go with this one, which is not quite closure? And I was like, oh, I like ... I like that idea.
Yeah.
So I kind of decide that sometimes as we go. But that's really it. I mean, I look at the characters, I kind of figure out what they want to tell me, and then what I want to say through them. And then from there, I figure out what are the major plot devices I want to play with. Do I want to play with dimensional portals, or do I want to play with pizza and pineapple, or do I want to play with I mentioned I'm doing something with sophomore. What would I say? It was college sophomore finals, a pregnancy test, and there's a couple other little things I teased out. Spider-Squirrel's one shot, and it's like an alien invasion. I think was one of them. As the people, what does that have to do with anything? You'll see.
It's a bad day.
You'll see.
A bad day right there.
Just wait. You will see.
It's a lot in one plate.
Yeah.
I was
going to say, sometimes for me, the stories, the main events are actually dressing for what I'm really saying. Like in the case that I'm writing for this one shot, I get all this crazy shit happening, but none of it's really the point. It's really what's going on between the two characters throughout the whole story. And there it is right there, right? So everything else is just a vehicle. So it just depends.
Okay.
Sorry, Tim, you were saying something.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to kind of get personal here. It's just like, you have 7 kids, I've seen, like, I have you on Facebook and I see all your videos of like you doing all this type of yoga stuff. And where do you have the time to get all of this stuff done? Like, 'cause you seem like a pretty centered guy.
Yeah, I try to be. My youngest is 8 now. So, honestly, I have a 26-year-old, a 20-year-old, and then I have 16, 15, 14, 10, and 8. So it's at this point, it's like, go.
Yeah. They're self-sufficient at that age. Yeah.
No, we've always had a really good dynamic family. When I first started doing obstacle course races in 2013 and trying to get back into shape, I had just played 2 seasons of competitive adult flag football, but you can do that being a fat guy. And so I enjoyed that for a couple years, but then I thought, I don't know, I kind of want to get back into shape or get into some kind of shape. So I found obstacle course racing, and then I found that parkour studio I mentioned earlier. Polar Fitness, which I ended up buying eventually, and turned it into Fredericksburg Ninja. Now we closed down after when COVID hit. It just wasn't stable enough on its own yet. It was only not even 2 years old when that happened. But anyway, at the time, my wife started doing aerial silks with my then 11-year-old, now 16-year-old daughter. So we found ways to kind of integrate our kids into these things as much as possible. So my oldest would watch the youngest maybe, and then, we'd go to the studio and go play. And so we just we bounce off each other. But I'm telling you what, it's not as bad as you think. You have one kid, it's like, oh my God, my world is changed. And then you have the second kid, you're like, what the hell was I thinking? And then you get to the third kid, and you're like, Jesus, shotgun, no.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And the fourth kid, it's all like, oh, they're kind of pairing up together, and they're not teaming up on me. They're kind of off.
Yeah.
So now you have these dynamics that start happening, right? And so,
Oh yeah.
So actually, as we had more children, the house got a little bit more calm. So I don't know how that worked, but
yeah. Wow.
If you're looking to have kids, there's your excuse to have many.
Oh yeah.
I have no religious affiliation. I have no desire to breed and populate the world. I just a very frisky old man. And I don't know how to describe it.
All right, you watch him, and you watch him, and you watch him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody pair up, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. It works perfectly every time.
Have you thought about, like, have you wanted to write a team family dynamic based book based off your experiences, or?
So yeah, I teased this backstage, but
nice.
Are out there. Yep. I could share a screen. I've got a nice homage cover to a Fantastic Four issue done by the cover was done by Mike Ringo. You know, may he rest in peace. Huge, not only a huge Ringo fan. Ringo, just a side story. I met him and Todd DeZago and Craig Russo at Heroes Con one year. I think it was 2005. And you know, my first interaction with Mike was, it was late in the day. I had just closed up my table. He was trying to close up. He had a sign up there that said no sketches, but my daughters, they were younger, well, significantly younger. They really wanted to sketch. And I was like, oh no, he's not doing sketches, baby. And Todd DeZago goes, I'll do a sketch. And I was like, you're not even an artist. Like, what are you doing, man? He's like, I'll do whatever. And my oldest daughter, you know, she was little, and she goes, he can do a sketch for me. And I was like, well, hey, okay, whatever. I still have that little book too. Todd did this goofy little duck, and it was really cool. And then Mike goes, hey, give me your book to one of my other daughters. And I was like, dude, no way, you don't have to. And he's like, no, I insist. So he was closing up because his back was actually hurting, you know, bending over all day. Anyway, he did 2 more sketches for my 2 daughters, and then he was totally done with everybody. And then he invited me out to Fuel, which for those of you who've been to Charlotte, been to Heroes Con, Fuel's the pizza joint right across the hall. And he invited me to Fuel, and I got to sit down with Todd, Cully Hamner, Craig Russo, Andy Smith, which I knew Andy anyway, and of course Mike and a couple other guys I didn't recognize. But sat down and had pizza and chatted with these guys. We're all at the same table, and I was like, "Wow, I'm being welcome into brotherhood, right?" Like,
right.
Oh, you guys are the best.
That's awesome.
That was cool. So anyway, so I'm a huge Ringo fan, not just because of his art, but because he was the greatest human being on earth. I mean, he was just outstanding. And when I put this family together, you guys just saw they're called the Fundamentals.
Nice, I like that.
Kind of playing off the fundamental elements of the universe, and it's
Tesla
not
and all that stuff, yeah.
It's not Earth, Wind, Fire, Water, Air either. So
it's a unique take.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, a little more scientific in a little bit of a sense. Not that anything in comics is, you know, not, I guess, anymore.
Right.
And then there's 2. They're not in the picture there, but there's 2 parents. So there's actually 6 members of this group. So not the Fantastic Four, but I've said the Fundamentals is like the Fantastic Four meets Power Pack. So you asked about family dynamics. Yeah. It's all there, right? So one of my daughters is adopted. She actually is one of those characters. In fact, she is Lightwave. She's right there. She's not there. She's there. She is.
Nice.
Station
Lightwave. Those are awesome.
So we got Boson, Newton, Lightwave, and Tesla. Okay, cool.
I like that.
That's awesome.
I like fixing the names.
Oh, thank you. Wow, yay, that was me. So actually, this is where I get to play with my own art. So I do a lot of design work on my own. A lot of my characters I design myself if I can't afford an artist to go out there and do stuff. I design these characters. Now, David Jackson did this art that I just showed you guys. Jax is a great dude. He cleaned up my work, made it look quality, and gave colors to these folks, which I absolutely bid on. We did make a change today, actually, on Newton. He's no longer going to be blue. He's going to be red.
Okay.
But there's a reason for that. But yeah, so Boson has, quantum physics is kind of his power. So the ability to manipulate quantum mechanics and stuff like that. Newton, you guys can figure that one out, right? Gravity. Light wave is just like it sounds, light, and then Tesla, magnetics. So we figured we'd take those kind of binding forces of the universe, and there's your fundamentals right there.
That's great. Yeah.
That actually is so you guys are starting to get into my head. You're seeing how like put stuff together. Okay. So look, whether you meant to or not, I'm doing it because I won't shut up. So those 4 kind of fundamental elements of the universe are, if combined, are Milestone's powers. So Milestone you'll actually meet in the first issue briefly. So you'll see him soon. And then he and Wonder Man and Hourglass you'll really see in the 3rd issue, full on action and the whole shebang. But Milestone's powers are really all of their powers into one human being. And he's been around for a while. He's kind of I guess for lack of a better term, kind of a Blue Marvel Century character, except I'm not retconning him in. He's already there.
Okay. Nice.
Right.
And so they tie in with him through that. So anyway, there's that.
So we got a cameo in issue 1, and we got a first full appearance in issue 3. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys heard it here first.
Yeah.
It's trying
That's
to
right.
spec on it. That's the issues you need to spec on.
That's right.
Hashtag blame Fable.
Yes. The spec game.
I think they created a hashtag. What did you say, Webtangle? Because I'm going to use that.
No,
we can you make that.
It's a fellow member of the Bad Batch. It's like we're the PCP Army Bad Batch, the Pop Culture Philosophers Bad Batch. And he gets a bunch of variants and shows them off. So we go hashtag blame Fable.
Anytime we buy
Fable.
something that's out there, yeah.
Because we go out and buy all these variants now too. So
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, I'm kind of a variant like hog myself, and so that's part of what inspired me to do so many variants the first time. And then after I got the bill, I realized that's stupid.
Yep, I felt that this week. Yeah, for sure. So did you have to create a character Bible for those characters as well? You're gonna have a lot, right? In that run, you mentioned you're gonna have 6 or something like that? A lot of dynamics going on there.
Yeah. So Scott and I are working out some of the story and the character dynamics simultaneously. So when I first created them, it's all notepad stuff. So I'm sitting there on my phone or whatever, and I'm just like, what's a good name for a gravity character? Oh God, Newton, duh. That's easy.
Yeah, sure.
And so I actually had a couple different names, but that was the one I went with, and then kind of moved on down the line. Boson was originally a female, and her name was Quark.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
nice.
and so,
Nice.
But then Scott and I got to talking, and so I mentioned my daughter's in this. So she's adopted. We adopted her from China.
Nice.
We brought her home. We had a 1, 2, and 3-year-old all at the same time. So we call them our triplets. That's our triplets. Yeah, they've always been together. They're like peas and carrots. They're like peas and carrots, Jenny. I don't know. I can't do Alabama. I can't slur that much. So I'm sorry if I offend somebody from Alabama.
Where's Robbie? We need Robbie.
So this one of those characters, Tesla, is actually the only biological child of Dr. Davies and Dr. Davies. Noah and Humaira Davies are 2 characters. So they have their own unique specialties. He's a scientist and she's a specialist around magic. So you can think of her almost like a Fate, Constantine, kind of person. Not that she has all these powers, but she gets and understands and studies and chronicles, magical events, and she understands them like a scientist does with science, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe she can play with it, maybe she can't. You'll find out. But they have one biological child. Lightwave and Newton are 2 children that they adopted from alternate dimensions throughout their travels. And then we meet Boson for the first time in this one shot. So you guys will, you'll meet all of them for the first time technically, but they will meet Boson for the first time. And his story will be explained there. So Scott and I are kind of building them as we go. And eventually I think I want to write their bios and publish them now on Drive-Thru RPG, but I'm afraid if I do, I'll probably give away too much of the book. So I'm probably going to hold off on those and publish them afterwards.
Yeah. I was wondering because from a creative standpoint, from just a character development standpoint, it's got to help to have that kind of be built on the side, just so it kind of helps drive your storytelling. And I think you kind of learned that with your previous book too, when you said you kind of published that first, and it kind of helps maybe spark some ideas for you. So I was just wondering if that's something that you kind of taken forward to pretty much every single project you've kind of put together that has multiple characters involved. I'm sure it's got to help the writing process and try to spark some different ideas.
Yeah, it does a lot. I mean, that's why the notepad stuff. I mean, now we all share, like Scott and I will share a Google Drive, doc, and we'll just add to it, and it becomes a very living, breathing bio for these characters. And so they're being written as we have chats on Facebook or just throw stuff into the Google Drive.
Right.
And then, Scott's fleshing out the actual story. So we've got a plot, and it looks like it's going to be about 44 pages, I think Scott said. So it should be a good sizable one.
Oh, yeah.
Great. And I think one of the stretch goals, I'm already thinking ahead. I think one of the stretch goals for the book is to get it perfect bound instead of saddle stitched. So it'll be a thin, perfect bound book, but I think it'll be a nice presentation for anybody. So you heard it here first.
Awesome. Sweet.
So have you ever been like writing anything and then like halfway through, or you just written a good portion of it and realized like you want to take the story or the issue somewhere else, and it's made you like really?
Yeah, that happens more often than I admit. And so what I do one of two things when that happens. I don't know how other writers handle it. I say writer like I'm a writer. Yeah, because I write crap, that's why. But I don't know how other writers handle it. When I come across that, I make a decision. So it's either a roll of the dice, flip of the coin, or I just say yes or no. So I sometimes I consult the waters. I will use the tea leaves.
Right.
I was waiting for you guys to shut me up.
Yep.
So,
the coffee grinds, whatever your poison is.
So the moonshine drops.
The moonshine drops.
No, so what I do there is I when I hit an inflection point like that, and the story in my mind starts going somewhere I wasn't intending, I ask, kind of a Socratic series of questions for myself. Is this where I really want it to go? Is this good for the character? Is this good for a story? Will people care? And, depending on the answers to those, I'll make a decision, and those aren't the only questions I ask, but I just kind of think about it, in a very Socratic fashion, and I do that a lot. If the answers are yes, and I decided not to keep it in that story, then it ends up becoming the basis for another character or another storyline later. So nothing is trash, is what I say.
Nothing's wasted.
Nice to say. Like that.
I mean, it might be trash. You tell me if you read it.
I think the only thing going to be trash about this book is Trash Panda.
Panda.
Right.
So he's so much freaking fun. I'm gonna give a little bit of a teaser, spoiler kind of a thing. He's so much fun to write and talk about and to play with. Not that way. That Vito DeSanti and I got to talking, and I said, Vito, I really want you to write something for me. And he says, what do you want to do? I was like, I want a Trash Panda solo story. He's like, really? I said, yeah, I don't have time right now to write it, and I just want to see what you do with them. So let's do this. So we have a 16-page solo story in volume 3. Nice. It's completely done. Like the rest of the book is, all the line art's done. 5 pages of coloring on that story is done. So yeah, you're going to love it. I think it's really fun. And I kind of stitch it. I broke it up and I stitch it as moments. So it's like, main event stuff, Trash Panda stuff. Main event stuff, more trash stuff. And then we kind of wrap the book with the Trash Panda thing and bring them all back together. So
breaks up the issue a little bit with some cool stuff. That's awesome. I love the character design, man. That's
Tim was
cool.
telling me about it. I was like, he told me about, he's like, yeah, there's a character named Trash Panda. I was like, wait. There's a character named Trash Panda? I was like, immediately my favorite character just based on the name alone. Like,
yeah.
That's
and then you see him and
then
stuff,
you're right.
And it's like, okay, the perfect.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So it's So well done. Well done.
Thank you. It is a collaborative effort. I can't take all the credit, but it's just a lot of fun. And I think that's the biggest thing is you're going to find out this book. If you read this book and realize and then think we didn't have fun putting it together, right. You're seriously on some really, like, you shouldn't read comics anymore. Like, go away. Right. We had such a blast putting this book together, and I hope you have a blast reading it. It's just a crap load of fun. Trash Panda is fun, and he's part of the reason. He's the other part of the reason I mentioned DC earlier. The reason we're doing a one shot. Part of the other reason is because I did break Trash Panda and SpiderSquirrel for so long throughout this miniseries that I was like, dang it, I got him in early, gave him a bunch of dynamics, and then I separate the characters for the rest of the story. Like, son of a... So the one shot is going to be a very Trash Panda SpiderSquirrel focused one shot.
Nice.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Nice.
Cool. Are you yeah, TM, go ahead.
Where can people find you? Like, I could get some people to drop the links right now, and I can add it to the description. I want to come to your house right now.
We're pretty inviting, and you get here, and you either love our family, or you go, "Oh my God, they're freaky," because they actually like each other. So I'll drop a couple in the private chat, and you can share it out there. So the Facebook's probably the easiest one for those of you who are still old like me and like Facebook. So you can. I can spell squirrel, you know, like it's my character or something. So SpiderSquirrel has his own Facebook and Twitter pages and Instagram. So on Twitter and Instagram, there's an underbar between Spider and Squirrel for both of those, because neither one of those allow hyphens. And some dirty rat took the merged name of SpiderSquirrel with no punctuation between it. Bastards. So
and they probably aren't even using it, right? They're just it's just a blank page. Of course.
I was for 7 years, and I'm like, Twitter, can I have this? And they were like, no, somebody else has it. Like, no, look, he's not moving.
He's been inactive for 7 years. He's dead.
He just keeps logging in just so the name doesn't expire.
Twitter sucks. So yeah, so SpiderSquirrel has his own. So yeah, you can find him at SpiderSquirrel on Instagram, Spider_Squirrel, or Twitter, Twitter.com/Spider_Squirrel there. Warning, I generally, if you go to the Facebook page or Twitter page and you interact with stuff, I generally respond as SpiderSquirrel. So if I say something that pisses you off, it's not me, I promise. It's the character.
SpiderSquirrel.
You're just gonna say yoinks a bunch of times or whatever that was. Completely off character.
There's my disclaimer. So if I offend anybody,
that's funny.
Yeah, and I'll give you a couple others here too, TM, for other usage. But a lot of my stuff's going to spin off of SpiderSquirrel. I mentioned it's the flagship title now for what I want to do. The Fundamentals is probably the most indirect offshoot. It's almost like a spinoff of a spinoff, because Milestone, I mentioned, appears in the book. Right. Milestone's powers are the basis for the Fundamentals powers. Mm-hmm. So there's your thread there, if you guys didn't catch that earlier.
Yeah.
So
are you going to expand on that more in the Fundamentals, like the connection between them? Okay. All right.
Sorry, I got to be coy every once in a while.
No, absolutely understand.
No, we want all the news in one spot.
I spoil enough, you know.
Try to drop these in the chat real quick.
No, I love it. I love the passion people are showing for the project. I mean, I'm still, we talked about it earlier, I'm totally blown away by the number of backers. I'll be honest with you, I was I set this bar of 200 backers thinking, okay, if we hit 200 backers, I'll eat this stupid pineapple pizza for you people and live stream. And I was thinking, like, that's some lofty goal. And little did I know, there was a queue of like 60 people waiting to be the 200 backers. It was like, you people suck. But then I go and double the number, and somebody's like, you should eat a whole pie. I was like, no.
That shut up fast, too. Because I think I was like the 268th and 267th. Yes, I backed it twice, everyone.
He did.
Station.
And like within 2 days or like even a day, it was like already up to like almost 400. And like the last like 24 hours, it was like 350, and it just jumped up another 51.
It was amazing. Yeah, very. Again, I'm so glad you guys and gals out there are enjoying this or excited about it. We're going to deliver, and I hope it delivers everything you're hoping it does yourself, but please stick around for the whole ride. I mean, it's a really fun ride. I love the fact that I got to let other writers play with my characters. I don't always let people play with my toys, so I'm a little selfish. But it was a lot of fun seeing the results of what different individuals, how they interpreted SpiderSquirrel, and
right.
Sometimes I read it and go, man, am I that daft? Maybe.
No. So for those who just joined us or maybe joined us halfway through, do you want to kind of repeat that there will be a opportunity to get your hands on this either digitally or physically after your Kickstarter, your initial Kickstarter runs kind of start getting mailed out and received? You kind of want to go over what the plan is in case people want to jump on board at this point.
Yeah, so already working on a website where you'll be able to pre-order, or not pre-order anymore, but now purchase the first volume. So once we begin delivering for our Kickstarter backers, or our loyal backers who jumped in early, thank you guys again. I can't say that enough. Then the rest of you who maybe missed out on it, didn't hear about it, or whatever, hey, no worries, you're not out of it. Not only will the second Kickstarter have, lots of opportunity for you to buy the first issue again, and possibly some second printings, because I got to see how many overprints we're going to do. But so we might have some variant cover, color variations rather, on different covers for the second printing. Nice. But you'll have a chance to back it there. But also you'll have a website where you can just go buy the one issue if you guys want to. I also have a local comic shop who bought an exclusive cover from me, and so they will have a limited run of 200 copies of this special cover. And for those who are joining late, I did share that earlier. So when this is over, rewind it. Is rewind a thing? Do you say that anymore? I don't even know.
Yeah. We'll make it a thing.
Yeah, on the rerun. I'm sorry. Yeah. Rewind, right?
The video backwards. And check it out, because I shared it here, and it's a super awesome cover. It's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of energy all itself. I mean, the cover alone just tells you all about the book, I think, and they do actually sit down and eat pizza in the book, for the record. So.
Yeah. Fitting. I like that.
But yeah, so we're going to do issue 2. We'll have a Kickstarter, and you'll be able to catch up. There'll be a catch-up pledge, both digitally and print. And then issue 3, I'll do the same thing for issues 1 and 2. I'll make sure that no matter what, if people are just now catching on to it, that there's always a chance to catch up one way or another. I may even do some additional covers, for those books, depending on funding, just as a special way to say, hey, here's a new version, another a 10th variant.
A 10th variant.
And there is a trade paperback in the works. So
nice.
Yeah, what? I'll give you guys a little bit more of an exclusive here. So, or breaking news. Breaking news.
Do it.
Guys, if you're watching this now, make sure to share this. Let's get the word out there of this guy's amazing book. Make sure to hit that like button, ding, 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 that notification bell for future videos. And you know what? We might as well let Trish say it.
Subscribe for more cool content.
And go.
Thanks, Trish.
Thanks, Trish.
So the trade paperback, I had it was definitely a drinking night. Vito and I were chatting about some obnoxious thing, and Vito goes, make sure he gets all the credit. So Vito goes, I got a wild idea. I said, yeah. He said, when are you doing the trade? After the first 3 issues? I don't know. I mean,
right.
He said, but you're gonna do a Kickstarter, right? And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, because I have a Freddie Williams cover. We're gonna do. I spoiled it.
I
just had to drop that. We're doing a
natural spoiler.
So we're going to do a Freddie Williams. God willing, it comes in on time. A Freddie Williams exclusive cover for the trade paperback. I'll reprint all of the original covers from all 3 issues, all the variants and everything, including the store exclusives, into the trade for bonus material. We'll do some director cut stuff. We'll show some behind the scene pieces. A nice, thick, quality trade paperback collection is the goal. Plus the 96 pages of story. There are a couple stories that did not make it into the first issue that may make it into issue 3 if we could pack it in. If not, it'll be packed in on the trade paperback. So there might even be some exclusive story content in there as well. No promises on that part, so don't hold me to that one. It may actually make it into 3. Yeah, no, it may end up in issue first. So I'm trying to work it out. It just depends on the timing. So here's the idea. So Vito goes, hey, this is wild. What do you think about this? A pizza box. And I was like, a pizza box? What the hell? He's like, well, a pizza box for the trade. And I was like, you mean like a slip kit? Oh my God!
Yeah.
So
nice.
No.
So there is going to be a limited edition, very limited print run of I'll design the box myself. it'll be a pizza box that your trade paperback will ship inside of. Now that won't be the shipping box. I'll have another box. So
That's great.
For those of you
That's
who watch
cool.
the Groove, it'll be a box inside of a box inside of another box, and when that box arrives, you smash it with a hammer.
That's right. Yep.
So it'll be a nice way to put it on the bookshelf. So I'll make sure it's a nice spine,
Yeah.
you know, with the title, but also the whole pizza shenanigans and some cool interior art on the actual
Awesome.
pizza box. So that'll be your
That's dope.
special.
So we're gonna
That'll
get
be
the slip.
Yeah,
We're gonna get the
what you're
slip
telling
with
us
it.
is we'll have the slip for this.
Yeah.
book.
Yeah,
The
only
pizza slip.
200 of these are going to be printed. So you got to be one of the first
Gotta be on
200
it. Oh, yeah.
backers. So for the trade.
Oh
paper-
yeah. We'll definitely keep an eye out for it, and I'm sure.
Send
I'm
us
sure.
the link first.
Yeah, send us the link first. We'll promote it for you. We'll get the 200 pretty quick.
Yeah.
Follow me on
You're supposed to
Kickstarter.
ask them that when we're not live.
Okay, gotcha. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm eager, guys. I'm sorry.
Can you edit a live video now? Can you?
We'll scrub that out later.
Because we were talking Bill and Ted's, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. We'll remember next time to edit that out. And done. Perfect. Perfect.
So
Cool.
we got a lot of plans, guys. So really looking forward to getting the stories up in front of you. And there's more to tell. So keep backing. Like I said, keep supporting. Follow me wherever you want, especially on Kickstarter, because you'll get the launch updates and stuff like that. And then the SpiderSquirrel, myself, he and I will both announce upcoming Kickstarters and so forth.
So when can we expect it? Like the launch of issue 2, like roughly a time period, so people can keep their eye out for that.
Yeah, I've been trying to do the math in my head. Assuming all the backers funding clears, and I think more and more every day seems to be clearing just fine. We had very few issues. Very fortunate. Very few issues on this already. So thank you guys. I think that should be hitting the bank. Not this coming Monday, but the following Monday. So whether it's evening or Tuesday morning, I'll begin processing orders to get the physical books ordered. I expect with COVID and stuff like that, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks to get to me, maybe a little longer. So that puts us at the end of June. And then I'll begin shipping immediately as soon as they start arriving. As long as I have everything, I'll start shipping out stuff as soon as I can. So I may ship certain individuals first if they had like just a comic. That's going to be the easy ones to get out the door. Comics and trading cards is going to be a different story. So it all depends. Assuming I can get everybody's stuff shipped by early July, I expect a couple weeks delivery to certain countries. I'm expecting by my birthday, August, to announce the Kickstarter and probably mid-August, if timing works out, to actually launch it. So that's the goal.
Nice.
Neat, yeah.
Okay.
Kind of had to do a reverse timeline.
And I'm telling everybody now, you guys gotta back this and like try to get the first issue. Like, trust me, I'm TM.
That's right.
So.
Thank you. Yes. My kids will appreciate it. They like fruit.
Does anybody have any more questions, or anybody in the chat have a question for Charlie?
Oh God, you opened up to the world.
Yeah.
You've been really cool. I appreciate you giving your insight, and this is really, really cool to sit down with you. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell you're very excited about your projects and very proud of them. So it's just really it's fun to speak with somebody who's full of enthusiasm and is really absolutely. So yeah, I think we're all looking forward to what you got coming up. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you guys. Thanks for having me on. It's fun. I love talking about this stuff. Actually, I could just end that sentence that I love talking.
Yep.
All right. If nobody else has any more questions, I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you, everyone watching this live right now, and anybody who's watching this on the replay. I might have missed something.
Oh.
Crowd, good question.
The action figures.
Well,
at least the SpiderSquirrel Trash Panda.
Yeah.
How many exclusives?
Yeah, I have a custom Funko on my shelf.
No way.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's the old mask. It's not the new mask. I didn't get into that with you guys. There's 2 masks. I showed the one physical mask here. If you pay attention to the covers, you'll see 2. There's the original mask.
That's neat.
Yep.
Very Nightwing-esque, right?
Yeah.
Sure,
The obvious
sure.
influence. But I really wanted to emote more with the eyes, and so I went with the open lenses, the very kind of blue.
Nice. Yeah.
So, you'll see that in the book too. It's used. DC does such a great job of facial expressions. Anyway, to answer the question that was asked, when I was with Short Fuse, they had acquired an action figure licensing company, and we're going to produce figures. With Short Fuse now defunct, I'm not getting my figures yet, so I'm working on it. I'm trying to find a way. I will tell you that I am working with somebody right now for minifigs for SpiderSquirrel.
Oh yeah.
I'm still trying to find somebody who does minifigs for the larger ones, like the Hulk size ones for Trash Panda, because that's what he needs.
Right.
And I haven't been striking out, so I'm working on it, guys. I'd love to get action figures out. It'd be so much fun. So
as long as you're working on it, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Yep.
Bobby, you ask a question that I sometimes don't want to answer.
It was going so good so far.
I know. And
Go Chiefs. Yep.
Just say the Chiefs. You'll be fine.
Well,
KC. What?
yeah,
Chiefs.
I do. I lived in Texas as a kid for a couple years.
I knew it was too good to be true.
Hey, everybody's got to have a flaw.
I tell you I'm from Buffalo and you flash a Dallas jersey. Okay.
Yeah. Is that still?
You guys want to go get my Detroit Lions jersey real quick?
Is that a pro team?
Who?
Oh,
Yeah. Not lately.
Zing.
Great.
Oh yeah. You know what? That's a great idea tomorrow. Brother Joe, I think, is bailing out on me after I showed the Romo jersey.
Yep.
Hey, you guys like him now that he's in broadcasting, so shut up. Yeah, a plush would be awesome. That's actually a really good idea. Tomorrow, I'll give you a free one if I make one. How about that?
There you go.
Nice.
Tomorrow's got all the good ideas.
We got to keep him locked up, guys.
Any other embarrassing questions? Now I get to make myself. I had 401 backers. Now it's down to like 3.
Yeah, they all canceled on you. Yep, that's great. No?
Yeah, tomorrow hit me up on Facebook. I'll that way I can remember that. But I promise I'll hook you up.
Tomorrow has a bunch of great ideas, man. Like, it was his idea to bring me out to live YouTube.
Yep, it's his fault.
Blame Shamar.
Blame Manny.
Yeah.
I'm old school. I'm actually writing your name down, so I that way I don't
That'd be a
forget.
cool show. Shamar Cinema.
Yeah, we work with him on doing shows. Like Marvin's also a friend of the show, a friend of the PCP Army Bad Batch.
I love
Same
Marvin.
with Alfred Page. We're friends with pretty much half the Second Sight publishing crew.
Yep.
They're good people.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thanks,
They're
guys.
worth it, bud.
Let's talk about what you're currently reading.
Oh. So I'm rereading, actually, I have it sitting right over there, the Shang-Chi Brothers and Sisters book from Jen, good grief, Young. And it just is kind of I just read the omnibus, the Master Kung Fu omnibus #1. And I was like, I want to reread that recent miniseries. So I'm reading that. Fantastic Four from Slott. Mostly started reading that really because of Sean, because Sean and I go way back. But Sean Isaacs.
Nice.
So I was reading that. I'm reading that too. I haven't read the current volume. Actually, I have my stack right here. How about this?
A fellow backlog bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There you go.
this is part of my daily reading. Striking Thoughts by Bruce Lee.
Nice.
The little idea. So I am actually a kung fu practitioner. So this is Alex Richter's book. Alex Richter, by the way, has a podcast called The Kung Fu Genius. He's hilarious. He's flippin' smart, and he's a badass. So Alex is awesome. He's a kung fu nerd on top of being a phenomenal master practitioner.
Kung Fu Genius is the name?
Kung Fu Genius. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on Twitter. Great dude, very interactive there, and he's got the podcast. He also does Dudes of Kung Fu podcast. He was doing it with Big Sean, who's now passed away as of January. He's still doing that every once in a while, but it's a really, really fun podcast if you like martial arts, especially if you're a Bruce Lee fan or Yip Man.
Yeah.
Be Water, My Friend by Shannon Lee. So reflection on her dad. The Daily Stoic. Look, I'm getting all heady now. The Daily Stoic. Great read. Highly recommend anything by Ryan. There's my Fantastic Four.
Nice.
Station.
I just got this. Well, I got it a couple weeks ago. I just got it off the shelf because I hadn't read it yet. Wailing Blade. From
That's dope.
Good grief. Comics Press. Sorry, couldn't think of it. It was on Kickstarter.
Oh,
I like
okay.
that cover.
And then last but not least, the IDW TMNT Omnibus. So working on that series of volumes, and then the Shang-Chi book, which is sitting on the other side over here.
Nice.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
I just didn't realize how many books I read until I picked up and realized my back went out.
Yeah, that's how we feel every Wednesday. We're coming out of the stores.
Yeah.
Our backs are killing us now.
Yeah, we're just like, yeah, we're not picking up that much. It's like, oh man, I just picked up 15 books.
Yeah. Yep.
Blame
Cool.
Fable.
Yep.
Hashtag.
Every
Blame
time.
Fable.
Every time. Any other questions in the chat?
Oh, Brother Joe. Oh, there you go. See? He bleeds Cowboys.
Brother Joe.
Thanks,
All
brother.
right. Thank you so much for jumping on with us and sharing the insight of your book and what's to come. I really enjoyed this. I was really pumped to have you on. I was so excited that you messaged me back and said, yeah, I'll be on your show.
I just wanted to hear myself talk.
It's all right, man. Now you can watch it on the replay like the rest of the people who missed it live.
No, you know what's funny? Actually, I say that in total jest. I actually, my wife will tell you, I get nervous as hell before any podcast because I'm like, why would people want to listen to me? You know, it's you know, so when someone invites me, I'm like, yeah, I'll be on. You know, I have 5 subscribers. I don't care.
Yeah. No, we're passionate about our
That's
books,
awesome.
and it's great to
Oh,
have people on here that are just as passionate to create them and talk about their
Oh, yeah.
experiences. So we really, really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Now, I'll know for sure if you mean that when you invite me back for volume 2.
I think it's an open invitation
Trev.
for sure.
It's already in the works.
Yep.
Hey, look at that. I even figured out which way to point, even though I'm mirrored.
I was gonna say, yeah, I've been
I'm
Awesome.
very impressed with that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, I
Hey, you're
can't.
the
I'm not
easy
even-
one.
Yeah, it's just like,
That's great.
But all right, guys. Thanks for
guys.
stopping in. Guys, if you're watching this on the replay, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And everybody watching this live, thank you so much for stopping by and listening to this amazing guy talk about his book. And make sure to share this with everyone you know. Let's get his book out there. There will be a chance for people who didn't back it to get the number 1, and keep checking Kickstarter for issue number 2 coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So thanks again.
Station off.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Station everyone, and as always, stay nerdy, friends.